Okay, this is a video, you know, about a time when, it seemed like someone molested me, or someone told a lie, because, I paid for a house, a home at this address having a legal marriage license, and people tempted me to go outside my marriage for sex. But I did not. I did not finish the job when I was tempted before or after I had a marriage license, because I do have a marriage license, Ever since I was a child, the way it was explained to me, if somebody molested me or abused me, or if a girl got on top of me or whatever, and she tried to stick my thing inside of her, or she tried to do sex stuff with me, then she would have to explain, or they would have to explain, whoever those people were, why were they ever trying to have sex with me in the first place? Because I never did any of that stuff, and it's something about when a girl is on top or something that they would say, like, it's kind of hard to say that, a guy molested you if a girl is actually on top of you trying to put your thing inside of her, and she was the aggressor, in those type of situations. Because I was molested like that when I was a child. So it was like, whenever someone molested you or sexually abused you, or a girl got on top of you, this is for the guys, to understand. Or for the girls to understand, because, some of the girls be talking about doing stuff with other girls. I don't really understand it. But according to my situation, it was like, yeah, well, as you can see on the screen, being married, I was told the person was my wife. I did not choose for my naked skin to go into a body, finishing the job in a person outside of my marriage, house, home, or residence. I did not. So, the details of what happened in this picture, I was at a house, and of course, I have a marriage license. The girl that I was with did not have any income at all. She did not have a job. She was not getting a check or any of that, The only money was the money that I have, and the money that I, used for the rent at the house. And it was on 3rd Street, And like I said, it was some outside people that, tried to tempt me or tried to ruin my marriage or something like that, like other people, like it was like other people was talking about, you can use their car or something like that, like it had something to do with some Willie or some Casanova or some Bristow family or something like that, or some other people or something like that about, in cars and craziness like that or something like that. And I don't really understand, because when a girl has no money at all, and of course, being married, because I am married according to the marriage license that I have. If a girl did not have any money or any income at all, and I paid the full rent, it's just like how I paid the full rent right now. There would be no excuse for her listening to a Casanova Bristow or a Willie or the people next door or downstairs, the people that call themselves the neighbors or whatever, and agreeing with them against me, it's crazy. So it was like, it was people that was like being mean during those times. And no matter how mean people were, being married, I was always told the person was my wife. And I did not choose for my naked skin to go into a body finishing a job in a person outside of my marriage, house, home, or residence. I did not. And what that means is that I never consciously ever had sex with any other person before or after I had a marriage license, and I do have a marriage license. I don't even know what it feels like, because, it was explained to me that, like, almost doesn't count. If you did not get the pleasure of busting a nut, ejaculating, and coming inside of her, that type of situation, then it's like you got none at all. Because when another person has actually busted a nut or came inside of her or nutted in her, what they call it, whoever the girl is when they do that, since I never did, and of course, being molested and abused and stuff like that, as a victim, though that it is not my pleasure, of course. So since I do not like it and I did not enjoy being molested and abused, those situations, those people would have to explain why they abused me and why they molested me and why they did that stuff to me, whether it was a girl or a boy, because I've been molested by both. I've been molested by girls and boys. So it's crazy. Women and men, either way. And I did not like it and I do not like it. It's wrong what they did to me. And like I've said in some of the other videos, it's crazy because, just like when I was at this house and the only money was the money, because when I moved into this house on 3rd Street, I was the only person that had any money, and paying the full rent, every first of the month like I always do, it's crazy because, well, people since then have tried to tell me, well, what if it wasn't your wife? What if it was somebody else? What if it was some kind of twin? What if it was her sister? What if it was some kind of walk-in doppelganger or all this crazy different stuff? I don't understand it all, but, because if it was those types of situations, well, then once again, I guess I was molested again because I did not choose or ask a person to pretend to be my wife and have sex with me without me knowing it. So it's crazy, and it's very disrespectful for a person to have behaved that way because I did not participate in any of those types of games or activities. I did not pretend to be someone I am not. I did not pretend to be someone else's husband or someone else's wife and, stuff like that. So I really don't understand. This picture was taken at a house on 3rd Street. I have a marriage license. It says I am a husband. The family court of Jefferson County says I am a dad, and that I have children. And what's crazy about this whole situation is that all of these years later, and it has been proven from me going to city to city that I do not abuse people and I do not abuse children because there would be victims, of course, because you can't just go from Birmingham to Atlanta to Georgia, Macon and Colorado and Kansas and New York and places that I've been. There would be victims of abuse if I was the type of person that abuses people, because I'm 38 years old today, and you're either that kind of person or you're not, It's the way it was explained to me. And, it's like some people don't even live that long to even make it to the age of 38, Some people died younger than that. So, it's crazy, like, that people would have, did whatever it is that they did. But whatever was going on, I'm just glad that the children had a place to go to. I'm just glad that I was there, not abusing them. And I'm just glad that, it was a house and that I had enough money to pay for it. And I'm glad that I paid the rent because nobody else did. I paid the rent. And when they would say you got to pay the cost to be the boss, is what I was told. It's crazy because even though I was paying the rent, even though I paid the whole cost when I was there on 3rd Street, you know, other people tried to be the boss of the marriage and the relationship and tried to tell me when and where I'm allowed to have sex with my own wife. And then on top of that, they tried to, tell me who should or should not be my wife. I don't know who that other person or that extra outside person is or was or what they was trying to do, but I don't like it and I feel abused and I feel like I was done wrong. But I'm not a threat to myself or others and I'm not suicidal. And this video is just evidence, of my truth for the family. Because I would not want to seem like a deadbeat dad. And it's kind of hard to seem like a deadbeat dad when at this house on 3rd Street, I am the only one that had an income when I moved into this house on 3rd Street. And it's just very disrespectful if I was ever disrespected at this house on 3rd Street by any female or by any male, in those situations. Because when I was taking the little bit of money that I have and paying the full rate, and that's what I'm supposed to do, being married or whatever. But it's the same situation. Since I am married and I was doing my job just like I'm doing my job now, I was never supposed to be disrespected. So it's the disrespect that is the problem. Because when those sisters were not married, when those neighbors were not married, when those other people were not paying the rent on 3rd Street, when those other people, were not cooking the food on 3rd Street, when those other people were not making these videos and were not making these productions and they were not teaching me or training me, and I was being homeschooled and I had to go to the library and look up the videos and instructions all by myself, then no one else should have been getting the credit and the respect or having sex with my wife or having sex with my children, because the children are children and they were too young to be having sex with anyone. And God knows I don't want to have sex with my own children or anyone's underage children. So, this video is a picture from 3rd Street, a house, a home. And according to the Family Court of Jefferson County, while I was there, when they did a home evaluation, the house and the home was approved as a legitimate place that I paid the rent for, and another man was not supposed to get credit for it. Another person was not supposed to get credit for it. Because since I am the one that actually put my money where my mouth is and paid the rent, and since I did not have sex with people outside of the marriage, and since I never got the pleasure of, whatever it is that they have to offer, there is no excuse for the disrespect and the way that I was treated at this address of 3rd Street in the picture at this house that I would pay the full rent for, with the title of a husband, of a dad. And all of these years later, it wasn't an act and it wasn't a front, because from state to state and from city to city, I still did not make any single moms or single mothers or any of it or whatever. So I just don't know why I wasn't allowed to have sex with my own wife,